Hi, my name's Nicole,
Hi, my name is Diamond.
Hi, my name is Lavinia.
and welcome to the Dope Student Podcast. Who do we have here today?
My name is Guy Lowery. I'm the former principal of Mayfair School.
All right, so today we're going to be asking some questions. First question is, what inspired you to start a middle school CTE program at Mayfair?
So, again, thank you to Mr. Jarrett and to all of the wonderful Mayfair students for inviting me to come back. It's truly humbling, and it's truly an awesome experience to come back into my school after being gone for a little over 2 years now. So I think building a school and making a school great, you have to look at the needs of the school and the needs of the students. And Mayfair is very, very different because we have two fundamental programs that really make this building stand out. One, of course, is our International Baccalaureate program here, which is a amazing, world-renowned set of standards that Mayfair School utilizes since we've been fully authorized. The second is this unbelievable program in this very room with these wonderful students and your wonderful teacher in our career and technical education program. So we wanted to make sure when we went back and we planned this out that students not only had college opportunities and opportunities to pursue college, but what about this huge untapped need that we have in our country for the trades? Electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, carpentry. All these amazing, high-paying, in-demand jobs. How are we preparing our middle school students for that? How are we preparing our middle school students to go into high school and say, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to have a career that will always be in demand. I will always be successful, and I will walk out into a job, a well-paying job. And when we couldn't answer that second part, we knew we were onto something. And we knew we had to be a trendsetter and start a program that not many, if any, programs exist. I know not in Philadelphia, I know not in Pennsylvania, but possibly across the country. Now, because of this program and what your teacher, Mr. Jarrett, has built up, now people across the country are starting to talk about the trades. So I couldn't be more proud to see what this program has come, and I know that it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
Can you share some key milestones and challenges you faced while establishing the CTE program at Mayfair?
Career and technical education was a big thing back well before I was even in school in the 1970s, 1960s, even into the very beginnings of the 1980s. Lots of schools had CTE programs. And for whatever reason, that went away. And in the 1990s, the 2000s, the 2010s, very few programs existed in the country for middle school students engaging in career and technical education. So I think because it was it's not a new idea, but it's a new idea in our time frame, trying to secure a program, get it started up from literally nothing. This room that you are in was a former kindergarten classroom when I was the principal of this school. This was a kindergarten classroom. So to take something that didn't exist and turn it into what you see today required a lot of thought, a lot of effort, a lot of funding, and the right people. And when we went and looked for a teacher and the site selection process opened, we interviewed folks. Mr. Jarrett came around, and clearly Mr. Jarrett had the idea and the notion of how not only to instruct career and technical education, but to build a program. Because again, this was a kindergarten classroom when Mr. Jarrett came into this, and we started working together to try to develop this. So just getting folks to understand that this is a need and to start something from scratch was absolutely challenging. But my gosh, guys, look what you built.
What advice would you offer to other principals looking to start a middle school CTE program in their schools?
I think you need the right person. You need to have a conceptual framework of how the CTE program ties into the academic program, and the principal, the leader of the school, has to truly buy into this. This is very different. You will not walk into another elementary school in the city of Philadelphia and see something like this. So you have to be able to think out of the box, and as a leader, you have to be able to trust and allow your teacher to build the program and to try new things. We didn't have the solar initiative when I left Mayfair. That was something that Mr. Jarrett was pursuing and was looking at. We got the foundation stuff set up, but because your teacher and your new principal, Mr. Day, is thinking about how to grow the program, we're keeping with trends, we're keeping with where the country's going, where the need is. Who would have thought that an elementary school would have a solar program? A solar program. I didn't even think that would happen when we started talking about this a couple of years ago. So you got to be trendsetters, and you got to always think ahead. Like, what's next? And I'm sure Mr. Jarrett and you guys are all thinking, what is the next trend? What is the next thing that we have to get on top of and make sure our middle school students are prepared when they leave?
How do you believe introducing students to trades in middle schools impact their future career?
It's huge. So in Philadelphia, as you know, in 8th grade, you are making selections for high school. You're applying to different high schools in the 8th grade. A lot of you probably remember when I was principal meeting with you in the 7th grade saying a lot of your 7th grade attendance and scores and your grades has an impact in 8th grade. So the fact that, it's great that a lot of our high schools have these programs, and, we have some amazing CTE programs in our district for high school kids. What do we do in middle school to prepare kids to go into those programs and have an idea of like, yes, this is a pathway I want to pursue? A lot of kids are in high school and they're like, yeah, you know what, I could try that. But you guys have a huge advantage because you've had 3, 4, possibly even more years than that of experience working through a multitude of different trades. So you can get your feet wet. You can see what you feel comfortable with and what you want to do. And then when you go into high school, you can hit the ground running. So that's what makes this program so valuable, because kids should start thinking early about what they want to do when they are out of high school, so that you have a plan and that you can hit the ground running.
Can you discuss the importance of a CTE program in the current educational landscape and the role of preparing students for the future?
So we spend a lot of time on English, math, social studies, science, and those are all critical areas. But everything that they teach you in those core competency classes is applicable in this room. With Mr. Jarrett, this program, and CTE, it takes all of the math, all of the science, all that comes together to actually build and do something. You can't make what you made outside with the sloped roofs to install the solar panels on without knowing math. You can't. You can't understand the need for solar energy until you understand the science behind the world and a lot of the stuff that you learn in social studies as to why solar as a sustainable energy source is necessary. Think about even since I've left Mayfair, think about all of the electric cars that are on the road right now that require a source of reliable, dependable energy to charge. If there's no electricity, your Tesla's not going anywhere. And your program, by installing solar panels and getting into that in middle school, is huge. So this ties it all together. This makes learning come to life, and Mr. Jarrett has done a great job of ensuring that what happens in this classroom is applicable to what happens in your core content classes.
What specific aspects of CTE are you most passionate about, and why?
Giving kids an idea of where they want to be in the future at an early age. So all of you might not end up as owning a business, owning a HVAC company, working as a high-paid plumber, or wiring a house. Some of you absolutely will, but not all of you will do that, and that's okay. But you know what? You went through a program, you got to dabble with it, and you learned valuable, valuable skills in middle school that you could actually take out of here. The fact that I came in one time when I was a principal, and Mr. Jarrett had a whole bank of electrical boxes, and kids were in the class, students were in the class, wiring electrical boxes. That's a skill that I learned when I was in college maybe. And you guys are doing things that you will be able to do when you own your own home. You could you could go in your own house and change a faucet, swap out a toilet. I was here one time with the toilet that you guys installed and plumbed and did all that. You change outlets. All these things are so applicable to the real world, but also you can make a heck of a lot of money and have a great career path. So that's something I'm very passionate about, giving kids skills that they'll be able to use.
All right. What has been the most rewarding part of seeing the CTE program at Mayfair grow and gain national attention?
I couldn't be more proud. And I've been in contact, obviously, with, Mr. Day, a lot of the teachers and staff, Mr. Jarrett, since I've left here. And the first thing is I couldn't be more proud to, when I left Mayfair, to be able to pass the principalship, and Mr. Day was then selected to be the candidate and then took over the school officially, just to see my former assistant principal rise up to run this massive, massive school was just something that's amazing. But then to see the school when I'm not looking and to hear about my school when I'm not looking or when I'm not searching for it means that something amazing is going on here. When people come up to me in my new district and say, I saw Mayfair on the news because of the solar program or for this program or for that program, or because you had a news story done about you, you were at city council, you had newspaper articles written about you, that is a true testament that this program is absolutely taking off. So to hear that this program continues to grow and continues to do so well years after I left, and to see that a new principal is taking this and going with it, and your teacher continues to make this more and more and more attractive so that kids not only in Philadelphia but across the country are getting an interest in the trades. I don't think myself or Mr. Jarrett ever thought that it could get this big. And the funny thing is, you guys are just getting started, and that's what I'm most proud of.
As a product of the school district of Philadelphia, how has your personal education journey influenced your approach at your work?
I was born and raised in Philadelphia, and I attended Philadelphia Public Schools. I grew up in Feltonville. I went to Clara Barton Elementary. It's now called Feltonville Intermediate or Feltonville Arts and Sciences, but back in the day when I went, it's called Central East Middle School, and then I graduated from Northeast High School. So I am a product of 13 years of public school experience in Philadelphia, and then I went to Temple and St. Joe's. So quite honestly, every ounce of education I've had was within the city of Philadelphia, and something I'm very proud of. Coming through the school district, being born and raised in Philadelphia, absolutely, it always made me want to be a teacher, then a school leader in the school district of Philadelphia. And to come into a school like Mayfair and to see such an untapped potential that we could do something so out of the box and so different was just such a cool opportunity. So those two initiatives, the IB program and our career and technical education program, absolutely made Mayfair stand out as a very, very, very unique opportunity. And there's a reason why this school has so many kids. There's a reason why, because so many kids want to come in for these programs. And just going through school, I wish I had great teachers. I had great school experience. I wish I had some of these experiences. I really do. I wish I had a career and technical education program. I wish I had the rigor of an IB framework and an IB program when I went to school. So I'm just happy that Mayfair has it, and all the great things that have happened.
What qualities do you think are essential for educators who want to make a positive impact on their students' lives?
You gotta like kids. You gotta love what you do. You got to come in with the right mindset, the right attitude, and understand that, what's happening in this building is going to shape the future of not just our city, but our country. So just think about the impact in the few years that this program has been open, and think about the impact that so many kids are walking out of this program with an interest in the trades, something that is so needed, so needed. So to be a great educator, you have to think about the needs of kids. You have to be resilient. You have to be hardworking. You have to have an even-keeled, mannerism. And you have to be a thinker in the future. You have to always look out and see what's next and how do I innovate my either classroom, my school, or my program to be cutting edge in the future. Because one thing, and we've had many conversations about this, stagnation, if you just keep things status quo, you don't change things, things get tired, things get old. You have to keep doing what is working, but you always got to think about the next thing. What is the next thing? Innovation is the key to success. Being an innovative leader, an innovative teacher, innovative students keeps things fresh and it keeps you competitive. So when you own businesses and you are successful in your trade, you might be making, if you own a HVAC business, you might be doing well, but you always got to think, how do I tap into that next market? That light switch with the neon or LED light bulb above it, nobody thought about that until your teachers started looking for different opportunities and said, you know what, this is the next thing. This is the next thing that's going to take off, and I want to make sure my kids, my students at Mayfair, have the opportunity to get into a program like that. So you got to be innovative. You got to love what you do, like kids, but you got to innovate.
How do real-world experiences and hands-on learning benefit students in mastering content and making informed career choices?
So a lot of times what I would hear when I was your principal and going to classrooms, like, what are we going to use this for? And like, when am I going to need this? And I think that led us to starting up the IB program and the Career and Technical Education program so that you guys get to apply the skills that you learn in a school in a real world situation. So everything that we should do, there's certain things that you need to know. You need to know the math. You have to understand math in order to do pretty much anything in this classroom. But how do you work with your math teacher to make sure that when you come into Mr. Jarrett's class, that you know how to cut the angles, that you know that two 45-degree angles make a what? You know, when you cut two 45s, that's how you're able to frame out or make a
Triangle.
A triangle.
Yeah, or square, like 45, 45, 45, so that those angles are things that you need to make sure that you understand. So that need for real-world experiences is critical. And when you leave here, if we have done our job as educators, you leave the school that you were just in saying, you know what, I'm better off now than when I came in. And I know what I want to do now, and I have an idea. I might not own that business, but I know that this is a pathway I'm going to pursue. Life is very funny, guys. Everyone thinks they have it all worked out now, but we don't. We don't. And life will throw lots of curveballs. But you have such an advantage over so many other kids in schools right now because you have done something that you like and that you might want to pursue further.
Can you share a memorial experience or lesson you have learned from your interactions with students at Mayfair?
I think I became a better principal when I started listening more to my kids and to my teachers. And this program started because of student voice and student need. So I think by listening to our students and hearing what the needs were and what kids wanted, we realized that we had such an untapped potential. And we started doing interest, and we started like pulling some informational data about what do kids want to see? What do you want in your school? And this came up in some informational like discussions and surveys as something that we should really take a strong look at. So I think an influential moment was listening to students, listening to the needs of the community, and just looking at what can make our school so different. I'm glad that we're a great school. I was thrilled about that, and it was so great to be able to leave to go into the next journey of my life knowing that Mayfair is one, if not the top elementary school in the city of Philadelphia. Something I'm super proud of, and I know Mr. Day is super proud of that too. But you always got to think about the next thing. So I talked about innovation earlier. So that really absolutely, listening to kids and making sure that we're innovating was critical.
What is one fun or interesting fact about yourself that listeners might find surprising? And how do you balance your professional and personal life with such dedications?
Well, I got 3 kids. I got 2 12-year-old boys, and I got a 6-year-old who's going into 1st grade next year. So my hands are full. A fun fact, my wife is also was a teacher. Now she's a school administrator as well. So we have a house of educators. So around the dinner table, things can be a little interesting. When we have our kids and they come home and talk about their day, they're talking to 2 school administrators that, we deal with this every day. So we can offer a little bit of some different guidance to my kids when they come home and, they talk to us. So actually, it's kind of funny. I never really fully saw the potential of moving to the next stage. And I got a master's degree and I became a principal. I was happy. My wife is actually the one who convinced me to go back and earn a doctorate from St. Joe's. And I thought that it wasn't something I was thinking about. But she signed up, so guess what? I signed up with her, and we went through together and completed our doctoral studies together, which probably, if I didn't have that motivation, I may have not gone that pathway. So that's important for you guys to understand. Like, you always need that person, a parent, a grandparent, a relative, a friend, that person that really, truly motivates you in a great way and pushes you to do something that you didn't think was possible. And I have that, and I'm blessed to.
Before we end off, we would like to present Dr. Lowery with both of our Mayfair CTE shirts. And we would also like to thank you for everything you have done and for adding this program into our Mayfair